The glow of my laptop lit up the dark living room as I sat frozen on the couch, staring at a list of browser cookies I wasn't supposed to understand, but somehow did. File names, timestamps, session logs, and one folder labeled divorce_planning_steps. My wife was asleep in the bedroom down the hall. Or at least, that's what she wanted me to believe. The air in our Chicago apartment felt suffocating. Outside, the hum of late-night traffic on Lake Shore Drive barely registered. My hands hovered over the trackpad, afraid to click deeper, because I already knew. Something wasn't right. And the more I stared at those cookies, the more I realized. This wasn't just about a divorce. It was planned, step by step. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started with something small, a change in her tone. Emily used to ask how my day was. Then it turned into quick nods. Then silence. Suspicion crept in quietly. She started locking her phone, smiling at it, tilting the screen away when I walked by. Work stuff, she'd say. I believed her. I always did. But one night, she forgot to close her browser on the shared laptop. That's when I noticed something odd, multiple sessions from sites I didn't recognize. Legal blogs, financial planning tools, divorce forums. Unease settled in my chest. That's when it hit me. Why would she research divorce without saying a word? I told myself it was nothing. Maybe she was just curious. But the next night, when she went out with coworkers, I opened the laptop again. This time, I dug deeper. Cookies don't lie. They store everything. What you clicked, where you logged in, what you searched. And what I found wasn't curiosity. It was a blueprint. How to file for divorce without alerting spouse. Hidden asset strategy. Best way to document partners' income secretly. And then, messages. Session traces linked to a private web chat. Her username, e.m_Chicago. The other user? Drew Consults. I clicked further. Short messages. Cold. Precise. He doesn't suspect anything. We'll follow the timeline you gave. I'll be ready to move out after the filing. My chest tightened. Denial kicked in fast. No, this had to be a mistake. The next morning, I watched her pour coffee like nothing was wrong. Morning, she said. I studied her face. Calm. Detached. Did you sleep okay? I asked. She shrugged. Fine. That's when I saw it. No guilt. No hesitation. She wasn't conflicted. She was executing. Days passed, and I stayed quiet. But she didn't. Her manipulation became clearer. She started asking about my finances casually. Hey, how much do we have in savings again? Or, should we update our insurance beneficiaries? At night, she'd sit beside me, scrolling her phone, smiling faintly. I knew who she was talking to. Drew. Coworker. Consultant. Or something more. One evening, I followed her. She said she was meeting her team downtown. Instead, she walked into a boutique hotel on Wacker Drive. I stood across the street, watching. 10 minutes later, a man joined her. Confident. Relaxed. He put his hand on her lower back like he owned her. And she didn't pull away. That broke something in me. But I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I changed. Quietly. I contacted a lawyer. A good one. In Chicago, you don't win by yelling. You win by preparing. We gathered everything. Financial records, joint accounts, her browsing data, even security footage from the apartment building showing her late-night exits. And those cookies? They became evidence. Detailed. Time-stamped. Intentional. My lawyer leaned back in his chair. This is premeditated, he said. She's planning to take you apart legally. I nodded. Then we moved first. Strategic planning became my obsession. I separated my finances quietly. Documented every shared asset. Locked down accounts she didn't even realize I monitored. Then I waited. Because the trap only works when they think they're winning. 2 weeks later, she made her move. She sat across from me at dinner. I think we need to talk, she said softly. I nodded. I've been unhappy for a while. Of course you have. I think it's best if we separate. There it was. Clean. Controlled. Rehearsed. I let the silence stretch. Then I said, okay. She blinked. That wasn't the reaction she expected. The real moment came 3 days later. At her office. I had arranged everything. Legal notice filed. Assets frozen. Evidence submitted. And copies sent directly to her firm's ethics board, including her consultant, Drew. Turns out, he wasn't just her coworker. He was advising her on manipulating a legal process involving shared marital assets. That's a violation. A serious one. When I walked into that building, I saw her at the front desk. Her face pale. "What did you do?" she whispered. I handed her the envelope. Inside, everything. The cookies. The messages. The plan. Her hands shook. Drew wasn't there. He had already been suspended pending investigation. Public destruction doesn't need shouting. It happens quietly. Careers stall. Reputations collapse. Doors close. She called me that night, crying. "You ruined everything." I paused. "No," I said calmly. "You did. I just stopped you from finishing it." The divorce finalized 3 months later. Clean. Controlled. Not the way she planned. I kept the apartment. Most of the assets. And my silence. She moved out of the city shortly after. Drew disappeared completely. No forwarding address. No updates. Now, the apartment feels different. Quieter. Colder. Sometimes, I still sit on that same couch. Laptop closed. Lights off. Thinking about how close I came to losing everything, without even knowing. All because of a few lines of data. Browser cookies. Tiny traces of truth. That told me everything before she ever said a word. I don't check her social media. I don't ask about her. Some endings don't need closure. Just distance. And silence. The kind that lingers long after the damage is done. The end.